Today, I want to share something with you that has been an absolute game changer in my trading journey and the journey of my students as well. I've been trading for the last 6.5 years now, but for a large portion of that journey, I struggled with consistently making money. I would make money on a few good trades, but then I would give it all back with a few mistakes, a few losses. It was about a year ago now when I stumbled across some profound principles in psychology and human behavior that I then used to formulate this particular tool. And after using this tool religiously for a year now, I've seen the consistency of my results improve significantly. But not only that, I'm also finding myself being less emotional in the market, less fearful, less greedy in the market. I'm more process-based. And trading overall is easier, it's funner, and it's more profitable. I've not only seen these results in my own life, but I've also seen once I've taught the principles to my students and they've taken them on board and used the tool, they've started to get those great results as well. So without further ado, we're going to dive straight into this masterclass where I'm going to give you the understanding of this particular tool, the principles behind it, and also I'm going to run you through the tool, and you're going to have the opportunity to download this tool in the description below so you can have it and you can start using it in your trading every day, and you can start to see the results as well. So let's get into it. Now, the mindset tool that transformed my trading results and the results of my clients. The big problem here that we're addressing is outcome-based thinking. A lot of traders are stuck in this whole idea of outcome-based thinking, and we have to learn to differentiate the different types of thinking and the different types of decision-making we can have as a trader. Many traders are trading the fantasies in their minds and not the real market. I've spoken a lot about in my YouTube videos, there's a difference between the virtual market, the market we create in our mind, the ideas we create of what we think is going to happen next, and the actual market, the market that everybody participates in, the real market. And we have to learn to differentiate between those two things because they're completely different. You know, we may create an idea of what we think is going to happen next, but if that's not congruent or communicated by the real market, we're creating a fantasy, and we may be trading a fantasy which has no edge, okay? So there's a difference between the virtual market and the real market. That's the first thing we really need to understand as a trader. There's a difference between outcome-based and process-based decision-making. Whenever we create an idea of what we think the outcome is going to be in the virtual market, in our head, we then make decisions based on what we think is going to happen. And we try and trade the real market with the information and the ideas and the fantasies and the outcome-based thinking we've created in the virtual market in our head. And we can't have consistency that way. We're going to have very painful losses that way. We're going to take a lot of losses that way because we're not listening to the real market. We're not listening to what the market's communicating to us, and we're not making decisions based on what's actually happening in the real market. We're making decisions based on what we think is happening. And process-based decision-making is being present with the real market, listening to the real market. And when the real market presents opportunities according to our trading plan, we execute. And that's ultimately where you're going to find consistent profitability. That's ultimately the big breakthrough I had, and I help a lot of my students have. And the way we go from outcome-based thinking to process-based thinking is by using the tool I'm going to give you in this particular video and using it consistently before every single trade you take. Now, the most successful traders are process-based traders. There's not a question in my mind. They have a clear trading plan, they know exactly what their edge is, and then they're very open and they're listening to the real market in front of them, and they're making decisions based on what the real market is communicating to them if it aligns with their trading plan. It's a process-based trader, and they're present with the real market, and they're ultimately the ones who have consistent profitability. They're ultimately the ones who have the most profit potential, they make the most money, and they're also the traders that are trading most effortlessly, and they're stress-free, and they're fear and greed-free, and they're making the most money as effortlessly as possible, okay? Because the only reason there's stress or anger or strong emotional volatilities in our trading is if we create an idea of what's happening in the market, in the virtual market, in our head. We expect that in the real market, and the real market doesn't align with that. And that's where the anger comes from. That's where the emotional volatilities come from. And believe me, I've been there, and I've had so many cycles of going through that I want to communicate this to you so you guys can avoid that trap. The emotions are only there when what happens doesn't align with our expectations. So by using the tool religiously every day before every trade you take that I'm going to give to you, and you go from outcome-based to process-based, you improve your results, you make more money, and you have less stress as a trader. It's more effortless. This is such a profound tool that traders need to implement before they trade. Now, the understanding. I want to do a little bit of an understanding on human behavior and the human mind here, because this is so crucial to understand the science behind the tool and why it's so powerful. Now, once we create an idea on what we think the outcome is going to be, an outcome-based idea, a trade idea, let's say, for example, we're looking at euro dollar, right? And we want to take euro dollar to the upside. We think in the virtual market in our mind that euro dollar is going to go up, and we think it's going to go up, and we want to trade that because of that idea for whatever reason. What's going to happen in our mind is we're going to have something called confirmation bias, to only let in information that supports that initial bias. Euro dollar is going to go up. And we also have something called disconfirmation bias that blocks out any information that runs counter to that belief. And what I see a lot of traders doing, and I'm guilty of this myself, is we set an idea of what we think is going to happen next in the market. Euro dollar is going to go up, for example. And then we go onto the DXY, onto the dollar, and we are then looking for reasons to support why euro dollar is going to go to the upside. And we put indicators on the charts that we've never used before as a way to try and confirm and support our idea so we feel more comfortable about our bias. And we're not letting in any information, any risks or any cues or anything the market is trying to communicate to us about euro dollar going down, because we want to be right. We want our idea to be confirmed through a simple law of psychology called confirmation bias. And what you have to understand is if you set these outcome-based ideas and you're closed off to what the market's communicating to you, you're not going to be able to make profitable decisions, because the market's constantly communicating information to us. The question is, are you listening? Are you listening to what the market wants to do next? If you're setting outcome-based ideas and you have confirmation bias, chances are you're not, and you're going to fall victim to taking trades that aren't profitable. But if you implement the tool I'm going to give you, and you learn to be more open in the market, which the tool helps you to do, and learn how to ground your outcome-based ideas and expectations, and you learn to be more process-based, then all of a sudden, because you don't have an expectation or an idea, you're open to the flow of information the market wants to communicate to you. Everything, the risks, the cues, and you're open as a trader, your mind is open, you're fluid, you're like water, and you're making the best possible decisions as a trader. Now, we become blind to information communicated by the real market when we have outcome-based expectations and confirmation bias. And this is where the tool is so crucial, because it helps you ground those and it helps open up that stream of information that the market's constantly trying to communicate to us, but most of the time we're not listening. And if we're not listening, we can't make the most profitable decisions as traders. We're not even trading the real market, we're trading our own fantasies and bias when we have outcome-based expectations. We close ourselves off completely to the real market, we create an idea in our mind, a fantasy, and then all we're trying to do as individuals, it's a survival response, is trying to find information that supports our initial belief. And that's a sure recipe to have significant losses, go into drawdown, and not have consistent results. If you want to have consistent results, you use the tool I'm going to give you, ground those outcome-based expectations, make process-based expectations and decisions, and watch yourself build consistency as a trader. Because now you're just executing when your trading plan aligns with the market. Now, the big trap here, there are many challenges that come from having outcome-based expectations that the tool is going to help alleviate in your trading. So if you're experiencing any of these, chances are this tool is going to help completely eliminate them, and you're going to find yourself being more profitable as a trader. If you're finding yourself over trading or being impatient as a trader, why? Because when we create an idea of what we think is going to happen in the market, we're like an animal, impulsive. We want to capture that. We want to have that pleasure. And if the market's not ready for that, but we're trying to project and impose that onto the market, we're going to take setups that aren't there to be taken, over trading. And we're going to be impatient, we're going to be impulsive, we want that now because it's very pleasurable in our mind. And those two things are going to come as a symptom of having outcome-based expectations. The next thing here is fear of missing out. Because all we fear missing out on as traders are the outcome-based positive expectations and fantasies we create in our mind in the virtual market, and we project them onto the market. So by using the tool I'm going to give you, grounding the outcome-based expectations, making process-based expectations and decisions, FOMO is no longer there. Okay, you no longer have over-trading or impatience. You only execute when the market aligns with your trading plan. And FOMO isn't there because you're not fearing, you don't have any expectations to fear missing out on. You're present with the market and you're making decisions when the market aligns with that. Inconsistent results. Because you can't expect consistent results unless you have consistent execution of your trading plan. Okay, it's really key to understand. And we can't expect consistent execution of our trading plan if we have these expectations or fantasies that we create in our mind, project onto the market, and we want to capture them like an animal. We're going to be impatient, we're going to be impulsive, we're going to be over trading, we're going to have fear, and we're going to be run by fear as a trader as opposed to run by a trading plan. And the way you have consistent results as a trader is by consistently executing on your trading plan. The only way you can expect to do that is if you ground the outcome-based expectation, which the tool is going to help you do, and consistently execute on your plan by listening to the real market and executing on your plan when the real market presents the opportunity. And painful losses as well. If you're a trader out there and you're experiencing painful losses, it's an indication that you're setting expectations on the outcome and you're addicted to winning in that moment, and you're probably projecting fantasies about all that win was going to give you, the funded account, the glory in the community, the percentage for that month, the money for that month. And when you take a loss, you also lose all those fantasies and expectations. That's the painful part of it. You lose the dopamine associated with those things, and it's very painful as a trader, as an individual. So by going in there and using the tool I'm going to give you on grounding those expectations and having self-awareness before you take trades, you're not going to have painful losses anymore. You're only going to take trades that you truly accept the risk of, and the losses are no longer painful. They're part of a probability model because you've executed on your edge. So we solve so many challenges, and we help you with so many trading challenges by just using this tool. It's profound. Now the solution here is to use the Bulletproof Your Mindset tool. Now, like I mentioned, there's a link in the description for every single one of you to download that tool and start using it. You'll be able to go in there, download, make a copy of that tool to your own computer so you have it. It's completely private, it's completely free. And I've also put an additional lesson there and a walkthrough so you can see me guiding you through that tool whenever you need, but I'm also going to do that now in this video. So you want to use the Bulletproof Your Mindset tool. You want to build up self-awareness before every single trade you take and have an awareness of, am I making an outcome-based decision or am I making a process-based decision? It's now about building up that awareness of what type of decision are you making. We saw the reason why prior. You can see outcome-based decisions lead to a lot of those challenges, whereas process-based decisions lead to a lot of successful results, lowered stress, easy trading, or easier trading. And by building up the self-awareness before every trade you take and have the awareness of what type of decision you're making, you're pushing yourself from an emotional, inconsistent trader to a poised, consistently profitable trader. Utilize the Bulletproof Your Mindset tool before every single trade you take. And that's going to train you into the right thought process that I've seen most consistent with the most successful traders out there. And then you want to facilitate taking process-based trades that are aligned with your trading plan, which the Bulletproof Your Mindset tool is going to help you do. It's going to help facilitate that process of being a process-based trader, executing according to your plan, and that's ultimately where you can expect consistent profitability, when you're consistently executing on your edge, on your trading plan. And like I mentioned, that's going to lead to the consistent profitability. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now, the benefits of doing this, one tool has many solutions as a trader. You're going to find yourself being poised, patient, and present with the real market because you don't have any expectations or fantasies to capture in your mind. You're just listening to what the market's communicating to you. And when the market's ready to go, and when the market communicates that it's ready to go, you execute because you're listening to what the market's communicating to you. You're going to be less emotional about the outcome because you're not setting any unrealistic expectations on the outcome. You're more willing to accept risk and probability because you've taken a trade according to your edge and you've accepted that before you get into the position. And you've also lowered stress as a trader, because now you don't have fear as a trader, because now you're not setting unrealistic expectations that you fear missing out on. And you're clearer, making better decisions because you've removed confirmation bias, because you haven't set that outcome-based expectation. So all these solutions come part of utilizing the Bulletproof Your Mindset tool. So I want each and every single one of you to go into the description right now, download that tool, bring it up in front of you right now, and I'm going to show you how to walk through that. And we're actually going to go through that together and use that so you can start utilizing this before every single trade you take, and you can ultimately start to build the results you desire as a trader. I know all of you want to lower the emotional volatility you experience as a trader. I know all of you want to build more consistency in your results and ultimately scale up with funding and that type of stuff, so you can go off and do the things you'd love to do. That may be, quitting your job, going full-time as a trader. That may be spending more time with your family and friends. That may be, doing your health and fitness and dedicating yourself to that. A lot of those outcomes you want to have as a trader come down to having the proper processes and tools in place. This is a profound process and tool to have in place to help you. Okay, so I'm going to bring that up right now and make sure you have a copy on your desktop as well. Let's do it. It's broken up into two sections. You got your before trade and you got your after trade section. Very simple. Now, the most important thing you want to be doing is, again, like I mentioned, building up the self-awareness before you take a trade of what type of trade am I taking. And in the before trade part, you want to ask yourself, what are my expectations on this particular trade? So let's say, for example, you are looking at euro dollar to go long, and you want to ask yourself, what are the expectations? What am I expecting euro dollar to do here? What do I think the market's going to give me, or what do I think euro dollar is going to give me? And you have to build up the awareness of those very quiet voices at the back of your head. They're very quiet and they're whispering to you what you want from the market. And you have to build up the self-awareness of what those things are, and you want to write them down. Maybe, for example, what an expectation you have before placing euro dollar is that I think this is the trade that is going to get me funded. Okay? And maybe there'll be more. I think euro dollar is going to, go to X price. I think euro dollar is going to pop up very quickly. And maybe you have an expectation on how long it's going to take, a certain amount of minutes. These are all expectations we're creating in the virtual market in our mind, because nobody knows what's going to happen next in the real market. So we have no basis for these expectations in the real market. All we're doing is setting ourselves up to be emotional and have all those challenges we talked about: confirmation bias, disconfirmation bias, and making unprofitable, inconsistent decisions. So you want to bring to surface everything that you believe euro dollar is going to do. The next question you want to ask yourself is, does this trade meet my trading plan criteria? Now, let's say, for example, you write down all these expectations, but it does meet your trading plan criteria. Great. You should take this trade because it aligns with your trading plan, but you have to be aware that if you take a loss on euro dollar, or if euro dollar doesn't give you a funded account, or if it doesn't move to a certain price in that certain time because we have no idea what it's actually going to do, we're leaving ourselves highly emotional because the market's not giving the expectations we've imposed on it. So before we go into that trade, we need to ground those outcome-based expectations by asking ourselves, does anybody really know what's going to happen next in the market? Truly. And do I really know how long it's going to take for euro dollar to move up? Do I even know if it is going to move up? And the truth is, I've got a strike rate, a certain percentage of trades that I take. Now, does that mean that I'm going to be profitable in this individual trade? Because as traders, we're not looking to be profitable in that individual trade. We're looking to be profitable over a large sample space, over 100, if not 1,000 trades, because that's what we're doing. We're trading an edge. So you want to ask all these questions to ground the unrealistic expectations you have in your mind, so you're going ultimately into that position with the expectation on the process. I don't care if this is a win or a loss. I don't care about euro dollar's outcome if it goes up or down. It's irrelevant to me. I'm taking this trade because it aligns with my trading plan. I'm taking this trade because I know if I do over 100, over 1,000 trades, I'm going to end up profitable. And this is ultimately the thought process, the mental model that I teach in my 12-week program. I give you the decision-making flowchart there to ensure that you're making the wisest, most profitable decisions. And the Bulletproof Your Mindset tool is going to help facilitate that. Now, you can also have here, you have all those expectations, but you answer the question, no, it doesn't meet my trading plan. Well, guess what? You've got no edge in the market. You've got no profitability in the market. And it'd be silly, it'd be gambling to take that position. But you may be driven impulsively to still take that position because of the expectations. This is why it's really important to ground them and have great questions like I teach in the 12-week program on how to actually ground those expectations so you're not being run by those expectations. Okay? So you really want to be asking those two questions before the trade. And then afterwards, and by the way, there are tooltips on this tool, so you can click here and you can see more information. Now, for example, you may finish up that trade and you may have taken a loss because you have those expectations going into the position. I encourage you to ground them, but I also want you to see, maybe you go over previous trades and you'll see that I took this trade as a very painful loss. That was the expectation I had prior to the trade that I was expecting from the market. That's why I was extremely emotional. So you want to do an analysis after the trade of how emotional you were. Maybe you took a loss in this trade and you're extremely angry. Why? Because you lost all these expectations. You didn't get funded. Your dollar didn't move to that price in that time, or it didn't make you that dollar amount. So you want to see that your emotional reaction after the trade is directly correlated with the expectation you had before the trade. I want you to see this because it's true. That's what happens in our mind. We create pairs of opposites, that this outcome is very pleasurable, therefore not getting that, or its opposite, it's very painful. And that's how our emotions work. So you want to learn to see that it's the unrealistic expectations and the outcome before you take a trade that actually drive emotions. But if you're going into a trade with no expectations on the outcome, with that process-based thought process that I mentioned before, guess what? If you truly embody that, you won't be emotional. You'll be poised after that trade, and you'll be a professional trader. You'll be reacting like a professional trader. And then after, I've left a little section here to make refinements. What are the refinements you want to make here? Maybe it's about creating questions before trade to ground unrealistic expectations. Maybe you just join the 12-week program because I've summarized those questions for you, and you get those questions and you put them in your trading plan. Add to trading checklist. Okay, so these are all wise things to do to refine your process. So every time as a trader, when you take a trade, you're getting better. You're becoming less emotional. You're becoming more process-based. You're becoming more consistent in your execution, therefore becoming more consistent in your results. Because you can only expect consistent profitability if you have consistent execution of an edge. By using this tool every time you take a trade, it's going to help you adhere to your edge and ultimately get consistent profitability, which is where you have the opportunity to scale with funding and have the opportunity to do things like quit your job and go and do the things you love and pursue the things you love, all while being confident in yourself as a trader that you're going to bring in income and you're going to be stress-free while doing it as well. So please implement this tool and start using it before every trade. I want you guys and girls to message me once you've been doing that for a month or two consistently and let me know what type of results you've had. Okay, now to summarize. Build up self-awareness about what decisions you're making. Use the Bulletproof Your Mindset tool. Jump in the description, download that now. It'll be useful. Focus on the execution of process-based decisions. That's where the consistent profitability comes from. That's where your opportunity to scale significantly and live the dreams that you want to be living are. And notice how your outcome as a trader, where you would love to be, whether that's quitting your job, working in other businesses, freeing up your time, doing what you love, that actually comes down and boils down to a few high priority actions every day. Consistent execution of your trading plan. Building up self-awareness of what decisions you're making. It's very small, minute action steps that you can do every day that will ultimately lead to you accomplishing what you would love to accomplish. And then this will lead to lowered emotional problems and consistent profits if you utilize the tool every single trade. Now, I hope this was useful. If you found it useful, please share it with friends, share it with your trading communities and those you know will get value from it. I put out weekly videos helping you guys and girls master your trading mindset. So if you found this video useful, please go down, subscribe, like the video, drop a comment on your biggest takeaway from this particular video. That helps me grow, and that also keeps you in the loop when I put out my next video. I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Cheers.